Hello, everybody. I hope you're doing well this week. What we are going to talk about today are 5 tricks to building your comfort and confidence in drawing. And this is very important because I feel like we all need to have different ways in being comfortable in what we can do and finding ways to build confidence in different things that we want to explore that maybe we get frustrated with, or maybe we don't quite understand or feel that we quite understand. And I feel like there are always ways, especially in the visual arts, to break up the rules, to break up tradition, to be able to find our visually artistic voice. So I'm going to talk to you about 5 tricks. But first, I want to show you a little bit of where this is coming from. So I thought to talk with you about surrealism, which comes with automatism. And I'm going to show you a couple artists who I feel are very powerful in these ways of making. Numero uno, Salvador Dali. I hope that you have heard of Salvador Dali, but this is probably his most famous work, The Persistence of Memory. What Surrealism was a group of artists who wanted to break the rules of realism. And these artists wanted to make the artwork more surreal than real. So I'm going to read this to you very quickly so that you can get the gist of what his purpose was and what he did. Before joining the Surrealist group formally in 1929, Salvador Dali imbued his work with a sense of the fantastic and the extraordinary personified in the work of the old masters such as Bosch, and in his own time by Chirico. I am horrible at saying names. I just have to tell you this. In The Persistence of Memory, one of his earlier surrealist works, Dali was influenced by Garden of Earthly Delights, which he combined with a Catalan background, a feature of much of his early work. This painting was one of the very first that Dali executed using his paranoid critical approach in which he depicts his own psychological conflicts and phobias. The Persistence of Memory contains a self-portrait, so this is him. This is Dali right here, which is draped over a soft watch right here. For Dali, these soft watches represent what he called the camembert of time. I don't know if I said that right. Suggesting that the concept of time had lost all meaning in the unconscious world. The ants crawling over the pocket, which suggests decay right here. The ants crawling over the pocket watch suggests decay, an absurd notion given that the watch is metallic. These paranoid critical images reflect Dali's reading and absorption of Freud's theories of the unconscious and its access to the latent desires and paranoia of the human mind, such as the unconscious fear of death alluded to in this painting. So I just wanted to give you that brief background on Dali because I find him fascinating. What he did was he would keep a book near his bed, and when he would wake up each day, he would write his dreams in his notebook, and then he would paint them. So he truly tapped into his subconscious, the surreal part of his mind, to create his own reality. And that is what the Surrealists did. And I wanted to show you another artist, Max Ernst. He was another phenomenal Surrealist artist who tapped into a unique style of his own, and he created scenes that looked like recognizable imagery, yet you look at it and you realize that it cannot be real, and it is not actually recognizable. And Frida Kahlo was another surrealist artist who I absolutely love. She created usually a little bit more realistic scenes. These were much more exotic, but again, she also tapped into the subconscious a lot. Now the surrealism movement, it leaned into what is called automatism. I wanted to show you this. So automatism, like this artist, Joan Miro, he created work based off of automatic making. And what that means is he would literally put a dot of yellow paint down. And I'm not telling you this is exactly how he made it, because who knows. But this is just the process that he shared with the world that he attempted in his way of making. He would put, say, this yellow dot of paint down, and then he would react to it. So he would automatically put that down, and then he would create. He would react to that one dot, and that is how his paintings were created. He would be automatic in his movements, he would be automatic in his color choices, and he would be automatic in his responses. This is a way, automatism is a way of almost letting go of thinking. And I think that thinking or overthinking might be a reason why a lot of people are hesitant in drawing or painting or any type of visual art that they are not used to. So this is a way, automatism, this is a way to break out of thinking and to let loose. And so you can keep it completely abstract like Joan Miro did, or you can make those automatic marks and you can turn them into things. And these things don't have to make sense. Like this artist, I absolutely love how they start with creating automatic marks and then they add form to the parts to make it look more like a Dali painting, but almost totally unrecognizable things. Maybe you see a spoon here, maybe you see a rock here, but it also looks like a tongue and you're not quite sure. This might be a mushroom, but it also looks like a bone, and you just don't quite know what's going on. Another artist who was not technically in the surrealist movement, but was in the abstract movement, was Vasily Kandinsky. The reason why I'm showing you him is because he used an automatic, let me get this sticky note off here, he used an automatic way of making. He was a synesthete, so he used synesthesia in his way of making, which meant he could hear color. So synesthesia is when two senses are brought together, and for him, hearing and seeing were brought together. So he heard colors, so therefore he had to listen to music to make his work. And I can connect with him because I'm the same way. So it was a very automatic way of painting, and he went into his work never knowing how it would turn out because he was very automatic about it. And he let go of the rules, and he was one of the first artists in the modern art world to really break into abstraction in this form. So he was even before the surrealists, before the automatists, and I really wanted to show you his work. So with that thought of automatic drawing and painting, that's the first trick that I am going to talk with you about. This is a way of making that I embrace very often. These are some of my automatism drawings. And I want to share with you a little bit about how I make these. So what I do is I go somewhere and I sit and I look. And what I do is I simply draw the shapes of what I see and the lines of what I see. I break everything down to just shape and line. So I may see a plant and I only draw the outline of the leaves, and I do it very quickly. And I rotate the paper with every shape, every object, every line. I never allow my paper to stay the same orientation for more than one object that I am drawing. And in this way, I create drawings that I would never do if I were to be, say, intellectually thinking about the layout or the composition or the form, or if it was looking realistic or not. So I break out of any thoughts in realism, and I really just break it down to the shapes and the lines of what I'm looking at. And I only use black ink and the white of the paper. So I am going to show you these drawings. This is how I work with these black ink drawings. These are my, what I call sight consciousness drawings. And I thoroughly enjoy making these. I think these are truly liberating because it is purely automatic drawing, but I embrace observational drawing at the same time, which I think is really fun. Then I also have some different drawings here that I have created. These are completely automatic from my subconscious, from my imagination. I drew these 3 different mornings whenever I woke up, and I'm not quite sure what happened, and that's the overly exciting part about this. You might say that it looks like a 5-year-old drew this, and I'm okay with that because I have told people before that if you tell me that what I'm drawing looks like a 5-year-old drew it, then I take that as a compliment because 5-year-olds are the most honest artists. It's whenever we grow older that we lose that honesty. So this is some different automatic drawing pieces that I have that I wanted to show you, and so you can see how different every single one is and how you can do this. Those were some that I did on paper, and here are some that I have on raw canvas, where I put all of these up on a wall, and I took a couple paintbrushes and a couple colors, and I did not do anything but think of my experiences that I've had in certain places. And I'm not going to get into that. I'm not going to get into the concept of these quite right now, but I just wanted you to see how I did automatic painting, automatic mark making, and every single one is totally different. And I wanted you to see how much fun and freeing this way of painting and drawing can be. I mean, every single one unique and its own. So these are my examples that I wanted to show you. And the reason why I wanted to show you them is so that you can see, yes, I was trained as a traditionalist, I was trained as a realist, and yes, I can do realism. However, as I have grown, I am absolutely naturally an abstract expressionist, whatever you want to call it, artist. It is just what I love to do. And so I want to show you how you can find your style. You may be a realist artist, and this is a way of possibly figuring out different compositions or figuring out different ideas for your realistic style of painting. And if you are an abstract artist, this is a way of figuring out different ideas, figuring out different compositions, or just loosening up no matter what style you are. And that is the fun part about this. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how we do these tricks. But I need to get some more light. So 1 second.